I was like, no. Pump the brakes there, shorty. That's not going to happen. There's absolutely no way that the way that things are going right now that we would be able to accomplish that. Just no way.
So here we are. It's time. The big reveal. You guys have been seeing hashtag big plans for 2020 since July. So I bet you guys have been sitting around since July going, what is big plans for 2020?
Not really.
What is this big plans for 2020 you speak of?
But we were annoying enough that there are some people that are like, what is that about?
Okay, so big plans for 2020. Mm-hmm. Well, it originated like a week before 4th of July.
Okay.
I was in my secret place. I was talking to God, and I was, praising Him about, because He laid the 2019 Grow Your Own Food, or Grow Food Not Lawns plan on us, to teach people how to, even in small
living situations,
to be able to help get off the broken food system.
Right.
And so I was having a conversation with God, and I was like, this is really going great. This is doing better than we ever expected. Thank you so much. And then I made the mistake, and I said, so what's next? And that's when He laid it on me.
Yeah?
And then I was like, how am I going to sell this to 3 girls? So our normal monthly meeting came around. We have a meeting each month, and we go over everything, and it was like budget good, garden good, homeschool good. And so we were having a really good meeting.
Because it's 4th of July weekend, so we were having a good time.
And we were talking about how well 2019.
Yeah, because everything was starting to grow. Like, we had eggplant coming out of our ears. We had tomatoes that were finally ripening. We had all kinds of stuff going on.
Beans.
Yeah, beans, cucumbers. So we were doing really well. So we're really excited.
And so I took that as a sign and an opportunity to...
So what about next year?
Lay the groundwork for what God laid on my heart. And the funny thing is when I was like, well, so we're doing so good here. What do you guys think about? And the funny thing is I started small. I figured I'm going to do a little psychology here. And I started small, and the girls were like, we got that now.
Right. What's the deal?
What?
That's not a project?
I don't see...
Right.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down there.
Right.
And so then I went a little bit bigger with it. And the girls were like, you got to come bigger. And then I was like, fine. Bam! Go big or go home. And the girls were like, yeah, we can do this.
And I was like, no. Pump the brakes there, shorty. That's not going to happen. There's absolutely no way that the way that things are going right now that we would be able to accomplish that. Just no way. Things would have to change.
And so we started discussing it.
Right.
And so you and I took a weekend getaway, just like what we did when Grow Foods Not Lawns was laid on us. And we started to talk about it and plan it out. And so we started looking at how everything is here, and we took your concerns and we tried to...
Laundry list.
Yeah. That's true.
There was a lot.
There was a lot.
And I think there was a lot that maybe we weren't really as obvious to y'all, because I was kind of on the outside looking in, because up until that point I hadn't really been as active with the stuff that, with the Grow Food Not Lawns. I was kind of more at work doing, traveling and doing all that. So there was a lot of things.
My sugar mama.
Yeah. So there was a lot of things that I could see from the outside looking in, saying that's got to be fixed. That's got to be fixed.
And there was a lot of things as we talked that came up that neither one of us really took into consideration.
Right.
We went through that weekend, and by the time the weekend was over, you and I came home and we were pumped.
Yeah, we had definitively agreed that if the things that I was concerned about were addressed, that not that this would be a cakewalk, but we could accomplish it.
Right. And so we came home and we told the girls, okay, it's go time.
Yep. So we had several months to get ready. So you had, we did do a couple conferences in the meantime, so we had a couple of hurdles to get through as far as our time. But we've been doing a little bit of preparing here and there since we made the decision in July.
Right.
So what have we been preparing for?
So what have we been preparing for? What have we been doing all this planning for and talking about and reaching out to some friends and saying, hey, what do you think?
Right.
Well, drum roll, please. We're leaving the broken food system.
Right.
We are no longer
saying goodbye.
Participating in that system whatsoever.
Right.
Our goal for 2020 and beyond is everything that we consume food-wise comes off of our homestead. I would like for us to be completely sustainable by the end of the year.
Right, and that's the working goal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not sure about toilet paper, because that's the one that everybody, when we would throw it out to all of our, our sounding board, that was one of the very first things that people would say, well, what are you going to do about toilet paper?
Right, and when I mean being completely sustainable, look, I know there are certain things that we're not going to be able to produce, raise, grow here on the Big Bear Homestead.
Right.
Toilet paper being one. The first year, sugar, flour, coffee, tea, those kind of things, because like sugar, for instance, sugarcane takes 18 months to grow.
Yeah, from what we've researched, it's not something that's grown in a season.
Right.
But what that has also done for us is to research to find alternatives. So, some people talk about using chicory or dandelion or whatever to make a coffee substitute. So those are things that we'll try. But we have stocked up on a few of those things just to be able to make that a little bit less.
Well, that transition a lot easier.
Right.
I mean, when you go from having a cup or two of coffee a day, going cold turkey and
that's
missing that,
not a good idea.
missing that caffeine and stuff could, could put somebody in jail.
Well, at a minimum, if you're used to having that much caffeine, it could give you a headache or things like that. So we're definitely looking for alternatives, and that's what I think is so interesting about this project is since we're using YouTube as the platform to get that out there, there are going to be times where we do stuff or we fall short on something that maybe one of you as viewers can say, hey, hello, have you ever tried using sugar beets? Have you ever tried using stevia? Have you ever made a tea garden? All of these different things that we've researched and found a couple of things. Like, I still want to know what everybody's take is on toilet paper, but there are also alternatives that, right. Yeah. So, lamb's ears. But anyway.
Not poison ivy.
No poison ivy.
Or poison oak or sumac. That's a hard no.
That's a hard no. So, that's the goal. The goal is to start with absolutely no store-bought food. And like you said before, we know that there are going to be a few things that we're going to fall short on. And that's where we have contacted a few people that are somewhat local that we can count on for barter. And that's one of the things that we've been doing over the last 3 or 4 months is really beefing up our supply to be able to barter with, as well as to be able to consume.
Because all of a sudden, toilet paper is now as valuable as
a
bacon.
pig. Yeah, like a pig. Like, legit. And we said something about toilet paper, so it's like, well, I'll trade you a pig for some toilet paper. Like, it's going to have to be like a year's supply of toilet paper.
Right. Because stuff like the sugar, the flour, it was like you and I were talking the other day. Do we really need to have a whole cup of sugar in our tea? Do we really need to
a
eat?
day?
Right.
Like, are we going to drink a gallon of tea a day and consume over a cup of sugar a day? Like, that's a lot of sugar.
Right.
And we've been doing that. So that's the other thing I think it's really important with this project that I think we're going to see is that when we don't have it readily available, what happens?
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that we're going to be learning and that we're going to be sharing with y'all is eating what's in season.
Right. And
one of the things that you said is everything that we do from now on.
Right. Right. So that's what I was saying is what the biggest thing that we'll be taking away from this project before we've even started is that we have to be completely intentional with everything we do. Mm-hmm. It's like with planting. We have to really be intentional with our space, what we're planting, when we're planting it, and all of that, because if we don't grow it and it doesn't come up, or we don't grow it in the right, season or the right length of time, we're not going to have it.
Right. And the reason why I brought that up is because we have to be more intentional with scheduling things. We're going to have to schedule time for me to be able to go hunting, trapping, for all of us to be able to go fishing. Mm-hmm. Because that's going to be a way that we're able to add more protein, mm-hmm. a more variety of protein,
right.
and essential fats and oils and stuff mm-hmm. like that to our diet.
Mm-hmm. And I think it'll also, another thing that I think will come is also less waste. Mm-hmm. Now, in the past, if we had waste, it went to the pigs. But I think that food is going to be more of a commodity now because it's not going to be this endless supply. Oops, I don't have any chips, so I got to go to the store to go get them. Now it's, well, go pick some kale and go cook it and eat it, or whatever. So I think that's another thing with being intentional is we definitely are going to have to be intentional with what we pick, what we harvest to eat, so there's not a whole lot of waste so that we're not taking from the next day's meal or the next week's meal or anything like that as well. So.
All right, so there it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going to do this next year. Now, like we stated earlier, we do have some homesteaders that are close to us that we've already talked to that if we need toilet paper or something like that, we can barter with them.
Right.
Now, I know some people are going to say, well, you're still participating in Walmart and stuff like that but it's just somebody else's money. I get that, but until a good hygienic alternative
right.
that we can either research and find out about or learn about to be able to put into place,
right.
we're still going to have to get toilet paper.
Right.
We also have some sponsors for this project. Baker Creek is on board again. We brought this up to them at the Homesteading Life conference, and they were on board once again because they sponsored the Grow Food Not Lawns. Mm-hmm. And we have a new sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
This is your thing, so you...
We were fortunate enough when we were at the HOA this year, we were able to meet up with Tom from McMurray Hatchery. And we spoke to him a little bit and pitched him the idea of what we were going to do. And he was pretty excited about it. And so they're going to help us out as well this year. So we're really excited to be partnering with them.
Yeah. So if we run into any issues with our chickens health-wise, mm-hmm. they're going to be a lifeline that we can be able to reach out to and say, hey, looks like we got bumblefoot.
Mm-hmm.
Any natural
what can we do? Right.
natural remedies and stuff that we can do. And they're also, going to help us out with some birds.
Right.
And stuff like that. And so we are going to be 1,000% transparent with this project.
Right.
I know this project is a little bit more intense than the Grow Foods Not Lawns, and we're going to be 100% transparent. So when we fail, we're going to share it with you. When we succeed, hold on, because we're going to share it with you.
Right.
We have not been putting out a lot of content here for the last, since probably July, off and on and stuff like that. But hold on, because with that transparency comes lots of content.
Right. There's going to be times where we have to drive, 2 hours to go get some goat's milk.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things. You notice how she chocolate covered dragon brought that up? She is extremely nervous about us not having any dairy because Daisy's not scheduled or not looking to throw her calf
till at least
end of January, beginning of February.
At the very least.
But I already got this. I took care of this.
Yes.
We do have a fellow YouTuber that we talked to. Mm-hmm. They're about, a couple of hours away from us?
Yeah,
And they said, we'll barter with you for goat's milk. Mm-hmm. And cheese. And let me tell you something.
They can make some cheese.
Yeah. Cattywampus Acres. They were one of the people that we kind of bounced this off.
With them being so local, it was a lot.
Yeah, because we kind of bounced it off of them and then pitched the idea of bartering with them, and they're all on board.
Right.
So our dairy stuff is gonna be coming until Daisy Throws is gonna be coming from Cattywampus Acres.
Right.
And so we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Just like if anything hardcore breaks.
Yeah.
I have a blacksmith and a machinist. I guess that's what he's.
He's a machinist.
Machinists that both of them said that they are open to barter whatever we need.
Right. So we feel like we've got ourselves set up to succeed for the most part. Mm-hmm. We know there's going to be some issues, but we're up for it.
But our biggest thing is y'all.
Yes.
If we put a video out there that said, we're running low on sassafras, what is a good alternative? If you know a good alternative to ranch dressing, or how to make your own ranch dressing, or Thousand Island, or what mayonnaise, or mustard. Anybody's got a recipe for mustard.
You're so funny. So all that
to up in the comments below.
All that to say, we're depending on y'all for support,
prayers, please pray,
but also suggestions for any things that we might, any problems we might run into.
Mustard.
So, with all that being said,
well, Dessa makes a mean sourdough pretzel, and you can't have a pretzel without mustard.
I know, baby.
So, this is your first time here with us. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget the bell. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead. God bless.
And have a nice day.